Thank you for coming. We're going to start with Coach Gait. He's going to make an opening statement, and then you can go ahead with your questions. So, go ahead.
Well, welcome everybody. I appreciate you guys coming out. Learn a little bit more about our Syracuse women's 2013 lacrosse team. So I'd like to start by just talking a little bit about where we're at, starting with the fact this is our last year in the Big East, and we're excited to have the opportunity to play for a Big East championship and compete against the teams that we've competed against for a long time, and kind of a farewell opportunity to demonstrate what Syracuse lacrosse is all about. Getting through this year with that schedule is going to be exciting and fun, knowing that we're going to have the opportunity in the future to move on to the ACC. And we'll talk more about that down the road, but certainly probably the greatest lacrosse conference that for women's lacrosse that's ever been, and with the teams that are in it and their success that they've had, I think we're excited to have that opportunity next year to move into that conference and compete at that next level. This year we've prepared, we've done things a little differently in our preparation, knowing the group that we had in. The team that we had coming back, we didn't lose a lot last year, and we started out right away in the fall with 21 scrimmages, which is a record for us. We've never had that many scrimmages in the fall season, so we wanted to give our young players some real game experience, and a lot of it. So we managed to get through that in the fall, and then we changed up our preseason a little bit with the earliest game in lacrosse history, playing January 13th against Jacksonville. So we've actually, we're 1-0, and we've had a long break since then, but great opportunity to get our team together. Bringing back so many returners, it was an ideal situation to ingrain the younger players with our veterans on a road trip down to Jacksonville, and really start creating some serious chemistry. So we utilized that, and then we got on the road again and went down and competed against the best in the world, the USA team, the English national team, and the Haudenosaunee team. So we've given this team as much experience as we can, getting ready for our home opener against Maryland. So we're prepared, and we've done things a little differently with the team that we have. So we're hoping that it helps lead to some success this year. I'll talk a little bit about our schedule. Again, I think we've continued to maintain an elite schedule, top 5, top 10 schedule. I think that's represented by our non-conference opponents. Every single team is ranked in the top 20 with the exception of Jacksonville, who we've already played, and they're right on the verge of the top 20, I think. They were a very strong team, and they're going to have a good season this year. So that's always very important to me, to make sure we have a strong schedule so that we learn to play against the best and learn to keep our level of play at that elite level. This year we're led by our seniors. Certainly our captain, Michelle Tumalo, the Block sisters, Lindley and Becca Block, along with Kaz Norwich, Bridget Daly, Tori Prano, Mandy Willison. I think this group of seniors have done an incredible amount of work to help this program get to that national championship level, and I've appreciated working with them for the last 4 years and everything that they've brought to this team, and we're looking to use their leadership and their guidance to help our young team really develop and gel this year throughout the season. The nice thing that we have is we have a very balanced team this year. We've added a lot of depth. We have contributors from all classes. I think we'll have everybody starting from seniors, juniors, sophomores, freshmen, everybody will have opportunities. And that's always been important to me, to balance the team and create depth so that we can go and compete every year with players that have experience, so that we don't end up, having a group of 10, 12 seniors leaving and then having to start over the next year. We're in a situation now where every year we have players that have experience coming back, and I think it's really going to enable us to keep our level of play where it is right now. So, it's been a lot of work, and I commend my coaches for the job they've done on the road recruiting and finding these young players that have really helped raise our level of play. It really brings me to we have a new group of freshmen this year. They've garnered a lot of media so far as the #1 class by Inside Lacrosse, the top recruiting class, and they will make an immediate impact, and will have opportunities to play at this season right away. And they've already made some nice impact in our opening game and games against the U.S. and we look forward to watching them develop and grow as the year goes on. The last thing that I really want to talk about is our style of play this year. We're looking to really play an up-tempo style of play. I think our increased depth on this team in the midfield has allowed us to really increase the pace of play. We also want to play with real style and finesse, and I think that's something that we've been working towards over the last few years, and hopefully you'll see a game that's just really fun to watch, played quickly, played at a high pace, a lot of movement, and some real creativity on the offensive end of the field. So we're from top to bottom, we're looking to have a exciting year and make the game exciting for the fans. And I think coming off last year's championship game, the sport can use that, and we're going to hopefully be leading the way in that direction. So thank you, and I'll take any questions that you guys have, and we'll carry on.
Coach, just a few questions about Michelle. How has she been with the younger players through the fall season? What have you seen from her as a leader?
Well, Michelle's a second-year captain, so she's done a lot of work on leadership, and I think if you asked our younger players, they truly respect her, but more than that, they like her, and she's very nice to them, and it makes it easy. She's a great communicator, so she talks with them, helps them out, so she's stepped up and really done a great job as a senior captain, and she'll have to continue that throughout the season.
Now, how far has she come to where she is now from when you started recruiting her those years ago?
Well, it's a process. We try and have a plan for most things we do, and we have a leadership plan in place, and it involves different duties, different responsibilities, whether you're freshman through senior, everybody has different roles, all the way through our alumni. So we incorporate all of that when we try and develop leaders, and Michelle's come through that process, and she's I'm sure if you ask her, she's learned a lot from those players that have graduated before us and before this team, and I think that's been important to her development, is learning from others, and that's the process we try and put in place. And she's been a sponge and taken it all in, and I think she does a great job.
You talked about offensive creativity. What is she capable of in that sense this season?
Well, she's got an incredible stick. Great athlete, great footwork, great stick. She's capable of doing anything she wants to. She can make the game as fun as she wants, and really, it's really important that she has players around her that are at that same level. And I think that's what we're at now. We have a group of players that that really can help her stand out, but they also will stand out on their own. And I think that'll take a little bit of pressure off Michelle and allow her to have fun and do her job.
Coach, when you look at the roster, you got kids from West Hill, CBA, Jordan Elbridge. How important is this local wealth of talent around Syracuse that you can draw from?
Well, I've always talked about it. We got to protect our backyard in the turfing, in the recruiting wars or battles that go out there, and we work hard at it. Our staff gets out there. We practice in the morning. We get out and see games in the afternoons, and that's really been part of our success, is to recognize the players and evaluate them so that we have a good list of young players on our whiteboard, on our grease board, so that we're always working on the recruiting, and we know who is interested in our program as they move up through the high school ranks. So we appreciate the players and what they've done, all the local talent from Syracuse, Rochester, Albany. Really look at those areas, Watertown North, Carthage, all the areas surrounding or that is upstate New York, is very important to us. But we understand that, but we also know that we need to go out and recruit from everywhere, and we go after the best of the best, and I think that's fully represented with the class that we brought in this year.
And then you were talking about creativity and up-tempo. In the championship game last year, you might not have seen that from your opponents. Just how do you combat that this upcoming season with teams that might want to slow you down or slow the game down in general?
Well, there are times when I think with the way the rules are written now that you'll see us, a couple minutes left, you're up by 2 goals, you probably hold the ball as well. So it's the way the rules are written at this point that style of play is a real strategy. So you're going to see it, I think, a little bit this year, especially from our opponents, I think. And we consider that when we talk about our defensive strategies, and Coach Thorpe does a great job, and really developing a pressure defense so that we can go after these teams if they're stalling, and we can make adjustments to other teams' style of offensive play. And so appreciate what he's done and the direction he's taken the defense.
Coach, you hinted at it before, but does this team just feel older and more mature than you've had in recent years? And what type of impact does that have this season?
Well, I think it's just a great mix. We have that maturity with the players back, but they're still relatively young. 4 starting seniors, and the rest, some juniors, sophomore, and a few freshmen. So it's a fairly young team still, but it's just an experienced team, and I think that's the way I view it more, is that we have the experience. And the nice thing is those veterans, those experienced players are really, helping the younger players develop. And I think that's been real important to our fall ball and our preseason, is that we work together to develop everybody and make sure that the entire team raises their level. I don't think there's one selfish person on our team that's just worried about how well they play. They want, the freshmen to do well. They want everybody to step up their game.
Coach, with how close you guys came last year and with all that experience returning, would it be a disappointment to not win the national championship this year?
Yeah, I think anything less would be a disappointment, and I think it's a goal. It's been a goal since I've been here for every team that's played. We've been to 3 Final Fours in the last 5 years, and it's our, these seniors are determined to go out as champions, and I know you'll have an opportunity to speak with them. They want to win, and that's the only thing that'll be acceptable to them. And you know what? I appreciate that attitude. They're willing to do the work that goes behind that, and that's more important than just saying it, is actually backing it up with the effort, the time, to make sure that they're as prepared as they possibly can be to make the run.
Coach, goal you've been splitting it a lot last year. Is that what we can kind of expect going forward as well?
Yeah, we really work. Brett Queen, our volunteer assistant, works with our goalies, and he did an incredible job last year. I think at the end of the regular season, both our goalies were in the top 5, top 10. With Alyssa, I think her save percentage was at the end of the regular season, I think it was number 1 or 2 in the country. And that's pretty impressive when you're splitting time and you're not just the starting goalie every game. So Brett, he'll work with us. We'll talk about it, and but both goalies look sharp, and they're both going to get opportunities to play again. And I think that is very unique. It's a unique situation for us to have two goalies that can play at top 5, top 10 level in the country, and I don't think anybody else has that flexibility or that advantage. So we'll continue to use that.
Coach, you
Time for a
mentioned
couple
freshmen.
questions.
What about Kayla specifically? How does she compare to some of the other freshmen that have come through here?
Kayla Trainer.
Yeah.
She, I think she's a special player. I think, she's proven that already in the preseason or in her first game, stepping up, as a righty attacker, playing, filling in for Michelle in our first game, and going 5-1 with her wrong hand is pretty impressive for a freshman. And I think she's got a lot to learn, but has the potential to be an amazing player. So we're excited to have her, on our attack line, and I think moving her from, midfield. I think she played in high school for the most part, and really focusing on her down low attack has really helped her blossom, and she's really got a high confidence level right now, and we're going to use that to create a little bit more balance on our offense, and I think that'll be a added bonus for us this year.
Time for one last question, if anyone has one.
Coach, being number one this year, is that something you talk about in the room and try to relish that role, or is it just an outside influence that you guys don't worry about?
The great thing is we have a wealth of experience on our staff, so we do a lot of time talking about where we're ranked, what we're going to do, planning, processing everything, and really we talked about it. We've all been players on our staff, and we talked about it, and I think we all agreed that we all loved being number one when we were on our teams, and how important it was to emphasize that it's great to be number one. You know where they're coming from, but if you're going to be number one, you got to act like it. And if you're going to act like it, means you're going to put the work in, the effort in, to show and demonstrate every day at every practice that what a number one team looks like. And I think we've kind of taken that direction with that, and said, you work at it, prove to yourself, prove to your teammates every day what it looks like to be number one, and then go out and do the same to the opponents. So that's kind of our approach this year, and hopefully we'll continue with that, and it'll be successful.